We're gonna talk to some people, gonna have a lot of fun. We're gonna talk to some people, gonna learn a lot of stuff. We're gonna talk to some people, gonna have a lot of fun. We're gonna talk to some people, gonna learn a lot of stuff. Cause Kristin knows blank.
Hi guys, welcome back to the Kristin Knows Blank podcast. This week my guest is Jason Russell, a comic that I hadn't worked with, since like 2002, and when we were catching up, it got a little weird. Before we started our interview today, Jason reminded me of something that I did. Okay, I used to drink a lot. I don't drink anymore, but there's a lot of things apparently that I have forgotten. And the story that he told me about me, well, let's just say it wasn't my foot that I put in my mouth. Anyway, the whole story is on Patreon. So if you want to see Jason remind me of something that I had blacked out, it's odd. It's odd and it surprised me. So if you want to hear that whole story, it's only on my Patreon, which is patreon.com/Kristin Key Comedy. And not just for that story, but you'd also be supporting this and all my shows. I have a live show every week, usually on Fridays, but sometimes it skips around for my tour schedule. But anyway, join the Patreon. This week especially, you get the dirty deets on some old drunken bad behavior. Anyway, thank you so much for listening to this podcast. Please like, follow, and subscribe to it. Leave a review or a comment. Let us know that you were actually here listening or watching. I'm Kristin Key. I'm the host of this crazy mess. You can find me through my website, kristinkey.com. It's got all of my social media. Ooh, I have a brand new store with merch in it. Oh my God. So get some merch. But anyway, say hi to me online. Find me, friend me, follow me, subscribe to my YouTube, all that good stuff. Now, my guest today is hilarious. We did work together years ago. He's got a hilarious dry bar special that's doing very well right now. Hey, computer lady, play that interview with Jason Russell.
Playing interview with Jason Russell.
Jason, I'm so glad you're on the podcast today. Thank you for joining me. The reason that I had you on today was actually talking to you about one of your interests and hobbies, which is dangerous, fast personal transportation.
Yes.
How did you get into this?
First of all, thank you for having me on. I love you. I'm a car guy.
Okay.
Anything that has a motor, anything that moves you moves your body. So when I was younger, I was fascinated with getting in a car, and that thing would take your body somewhere. That just, and I still am. So where this started was I'm watching a video on YouTube, and there's a guy, I don't know what the guy was doing, but behind him, I see this guy who's facing forward just move like he's on a conveyor belt. And I was just like, what the fuzzy hell was that? What was that? And I kept rewinding it, and I'm trying to figure out, I'm having people look at the video, and one guy's like, I think it's called a hoverboard. I'm like, what do you mean a hoverboard? What a hoverboard? And then of course it was a hoverboard, the ones that started blowing up on people. And from there on, it has grown to I'm staring at two scooters that we bought, the ones that you rent.
Yeah.
So it started with the hoverboard, and then we bought these two scooters, and then it just has grown, and it's going to get worse. I know, because it's one of these things where Jay Leno has over 550 cars, and people who don't understand an obsession like that was like, what do you don't need that. Well, it's not about you. No, nobody needs 500 cars. He is a car guy. So you get one and you drive it and you're like, oh my God, I love the smell, the way it feels. But then you look at this other car, it's going to feel differently. It's going to smell differently. So I have a one wheel, which is basically just a big wheel, and you stand on each side of this platform and it keeps itself up. And the best way to describe it is like surfing on land.
Hang on. I'm so sorry to interrupt you. I want to go back to the one wheel real quick. How do you get on it? Because the hoverboards, I remember that was my challenge. We got them all for Christmas one year, and it was the year that all the kids were amazing and all the adults almost had to get hips replaced. And I remember getting on and getting off of it was like hang on, I need to go stand by the kitchen bar. I'm on. So How do you get on a one wheel?
The one wheel, so let's just picture the wheel right there, and
Okay.
It sits like this, and you this is the back, so you get on, and then you put your other foot however you stand, and then as you just slowly push your foot down, you'll feel a little connection, and that's the self-balancing. So I think the problem
on a manual car.
Yes, and I think with a hoverboard and a one wheel, because they self-balance, I think people think it's going to keep you up, and it's not going to keep you up. It just keeps itself up. You have to maintain your balance. Once you figure that out, you can ride it for days. So once you, and then there's three ways to get off. You can jump off. You can
Fall off.
yeah.
That's my way to getting off. Whoop.
You can fall off. You can like, let's say you come and then you lean back and it just goes back a little bit and then you feel it jerk. You feel it kind of click off.
So were you a skateboarder before you got this electric skateboard? So what made you make the jump between like, oh, I can ride a hoverboard and now I can ride this?
It all comes from, because I was not a skateboarder. When I was younger, I had a green plastic skateboard. I was going by my buddy's house in West Allis, Wisconsin, and I hit a crack. The skateboard stayed right there by that crack, and I went flying and landed on my arm and broke my arm for the second time. In fact, I knew it was broke. I went in and told my buddy's mom, I was like, can you call my mom? I just broke my arm. So I never got on a skateboard ever again. What made me do it? I don't know. I think it goes back to my fascination with propelling my body. Like when you're on this skateboard and you're going, I'm about to get one that goes about 37 to 38 miles an hour.
Wow.
And it's for my 50th birthday. That's what my wife's going to get me. And
She's trying to kill you. She's trying to kill you. Like, did you ever consider that? Do you have a life insurance policy that was like recently renewed? And she's like, and by the way, here's this death trap of a skateboard.
I am though. When I come off the ships, I'm getting this. It's a high powered scooter. This is where you think
on ships, some of those old people have high powered scooters too. They're just a totally different thing.
I was going to ask you about that too. Am I going to have to worry about? So
yeah. Well, I was going to ask you: are you bringing any? Because this is an obsession of yours. Do you bring any of it with you travel?
I can't because of the lithium battery. But what I'm going to get when I get off the ship is a high powered scooter. It's like this thing is, and Kristin, it goes 60 miles an hour.
I mean, okay, so at that point, like, what kind of protective gear are you wearing going 60 miles an hour? Because I would have to be wearing, like, a car, like a frame. Like,
honey, you're supposed to do, okay, you do it the way you want. So
I had a hairstylist ask me, like, a while ago, like, how daring are you? And I was like, none? Is none daring an answer? Like, the idea of getting on something that goes 60, that you're outside, and you're like, oh, my skin. Like, how do you...
Oh. And you know what? I'm not going to sit here and act like I am a daredevil because I'm not. I am older, but there's just that, okay, you would agree that getting on stage and performing in front of people, at least in my eyes, is like, I watch a lot of these videos where these guys have these suits and they fly close to mountains. They fly in between these. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure that's an adrenaline rush. But there's nothing compared to standing in front of a bunch of people just looking at you going, go ahead, make me laugh, do it.
Going on some of these ships, walking up to an entire sea of old white, what I assume to be Republicans. Yeah, that to me is like a daredevil thing. It's like, I'm about to go tell them not only a joke, but a joke about a lesbian. Yeah.
Well, I honestly believe that, you should, we're only here for so long. So, do what makes you happy. But, I have children. I have a wife that I have to answer to. So I don't want to hurt myself. That's not ever. So, okay. So what you're going to need, I have a full face helmet that, covers this. And then I have a regular helmet. And the full face helmet is what you really want. I'm going to have it when I'm on these scooters.
Will you take it to 60 miles per hour? Or is it one of those, like, my car can go like 120. I will never probably go over like 77, none dare.
That question could best be answered in this way, is that I have to get on it. I do have a streak in me that is a little kid that's like, no, just do it. Go ahead. Just, what you don't have no thought process of, so I can get in that moment where, but it's very simple. You hit something that's, in the road, and that's it. How are you going to land?
Right.
What entry is it going to be? How bad is it going to be? So when I'm on that thing that goes like, okay, let's say I want to push it to 60, I'm going to have the bike, the leather stuff on. I'm going to buy a motorcycle jacket. I'm not going to wear that every single time, but if I know I want to go out and push it, full face helmet where, it covers my face and my, but I definitely am a speed demon. There's no way that I don't want to push it. I was done with the shows last weekend in Tucson, and I can't sleep before flights. I'm just paranoid that I just can't sleep. So, and then I had a rento, and I was like, well, I don't want to be messing around, trying to find a gas station. I don't want to wait till I get to the airport. So I was looking for a gas station, and for some reason, this guy in his pickup truck thought I wanted to race him. I had a Nissan Versa. I was like, dude, what are you? I just have a lead foot. I like speed. I like going fast. So I have rentals. Sometimes you just go, okay, I want to see what this car does. And he took that to go, oh, it's on. We're racing, dude. No, we're not. So he would take off at every light. We met at 3 different lights. He would race to the next light. It's like, all right. So on the 4th light, I was turning left and he was going forward. He took off, and I saw a guy on the side of the road next to him, and it looked like a bike. Like I'm observant, as comedians we read situations, and all of a sudden the light turns green and he peels off like he had been doing with me, and this thing is keeping up with him, and I knew instantly what it was. I was like, oh, that's a high-powered scooter, and he didn't lose him. Wow. Now what would be funny to me is, you and your listening audience, I'm telling you, there's these things out there now that, and you'll know, like, there's a scooter that can do 60 miles an hour. There's one that can go 75, a scooter, a stand-up scooter. Now they're beefier than the one I'm looking at right now, but I just pictured that guy, like, he's just looking over like, what the hell? And he's gunning it, and the guy is still keeping up with him. Yeah, beep, beep, exactly. And it's like, his mom, what the hell is he on? How is he keeping up with me? I'm doing 60. And I wanted to go say hi to the guy.
How do you get the parking brake off? Me. Oh.
Yeah, no. Listen, you do not ever, you're taught, or at least I know, when you're on those type of scooters, you don't touch the front brake, because you'll be gone. So I wanted to go see the guy, but it was like 2:00 in the morning. I'm like, dude, you're not gonna drive up to some guy at 2:00 in the morning. He doesn't care to talk to you. So, in fact, we went riding last night at the lake that my wife and I got married at in Dallas, and we get back. My son and I get back. It's about 10 miles around. So he's on one board, I'm on one board, and there was a family, and I knew instantly that these scooters were not your typical scooters. And I said, hey man, what do you got? And I don't know, because it was dark. I don't know what his problem was, but he didn't care to talk to me. So I was like, oh, whatever. But he had a bigger scooter. So I knew that one that he particularly had, I think does 50 or 55. Then there's a thing called a unicycle. It's a wheel.
This. Yeah, I've seen this. I did a little deep dive on this. I saw the unicycle. It's not your great aunt's unicycle. I don't know who rides a unicycle.
No, I actually want to learn how to ride a regular. Mike Epps, if you believe it, knows how to ride a unicycle. Like, what?
A couple comedians that ride unicycles, and I'm always like, it's like I fall for it, like, because they always do I'm gonna fall, and I'm like, they're gonna fall, but it's all part of the act. You're like, wow, they're so good at making me think they're gonna fall. Good job, guys.
Well, I want to do that. I want to learn to ride a unicycle, but the electric unicycle is just basically a big wheel, and it's got two flaps that you stand on. So the majority of the wheels between your legs. These things are insane, Kristin. I mean, like, in this realm of self transportation, there's something that's called range anxiety, and basically what that is you're always worried how far you can get out of one charge. So,
okay.
Yeah, and it's a real thing. Like, the board that I have now is from a company called E0p, and they're in China, I believe. and I'm going to get the bigger battery because it'll add range to, so the bigger the battery, of course, the longer the range. Well, these unicycles, you can go 98 miles on one charge. That you don't understand. That's insane. If any of these things, if my skateboard could go 90, oh my God, I'd be on that thing, you know, every day,
Would
everywhere.
you just use it instead of a car? Would you use that as your primary mode of transportation, do you think?
Well, you know, if I was single, yes, and I'm moving to LA, we're moving to LA in January, I would absolutely. I would. There'd be no, you know, there'd be no reason, you know, if I was single and I just had to worry about myself. But, you know, when you have a family, you can't everybody
just carry,
get on.
Yeah. Piggyback in one of the arms and yeah.
No, yeah, you won't. So I am my poor wife, you know, I get one and then, you know, I get excited and I'm riding it and I'm loving it. And then, you know, poor girl wakes up and is like, I want you to see this. And she just knows. She's like, oh, brother. You know,
How many do you have now? How many different, I don't know, devices?
Well, I have the two scooters. And they only go about, they're the ones, they're exactly what you rent on the road. They're, you know, it's by 9bot, Segway 9bot. But they also sell them to, you know, so I have those. I have a hoverboard, the one wheel, and the electric skateboard. And the one that I'm getting for my 50th, hang on, I'll show you so I've done, you know, this is the best thing you can do. If anybody out there wants to get into this, you have to do your research. Don't just go click electric skateboard and then buy something, because for one, you want to have customer service is a huge thing, because it's a machine, it's going to break, and you want to know you have a support. I print my own shirts, Kristin, right? And something happened with I went to Tucson last week. I don't know what it was. Something happened with my machine, and my heater I thought was broke, and it wasn't, but I thought it was broke. And it was that I plugged it into where the refrigerator is on the same line, and it wouldn't get hot. It's got to get to 350 degrees, you know, put the ink on the shirt,
right,
put the heat on for 15 seconds, and it's dry to touch. You can wear it. So I called this company that I bought this machine from 14 years earlier. And this woman who answered the phone was so pleasant, so kind, so welcoming, like, oh, well, yeah, she tried to see if I was still in the system. She's like, well, what do you have? And I told her the model number, and she's like, okay, well, here's this number. Call them. They're the ones that actually make it. If they don't help you, you call back here. And I had to send her an email and say, you know, it was amazing to have bought something 14 years earlier and call this company. Not only are they still around, but to get you on the phone with, you're so gracious with your time and what customer service, like, that's just amazing. She was so appreciative of me sending her that email. So you want to do your research. So I did my research on this board that I'm getting. Here, I'll show you what it is.
Oh yeah, let me see this.
This is my 50th birthday present.
Whoa, okay.
So you can see, and the difference between this one and the one I have is those tires.
Okay.
And the deck is carbon fiber. The tires, and then I don't know if you can see it, but right in the front there on the red part, they're called the trucks that hold the tires.
Yeah.
They're two little lights. And what those are built-in lights. So you have two built-in lights shining in the front, and then in the back of that there are two blue lights, and then on the other side, two blue lights, so they shine underneath the board, and then it has two tail lights. Okay. And when I saw that, I was like, oh, because I struggle with, I want my board to be lit up underneath. So I've got LED lights under both of those boards that I've had to, you know, rig myself.
Safety. Yeah, so people can see at night.
Well, I'm an attention whore. I think there's some of that in you, because you have to stand up. You have to want to be. You have to want to have attention on you. Like, I say this about my wife. She'll leave work today, and nobody will say nothing to her. She'll put her the company car in the lot. She'll get in her car, she'll drive home and be like, that was a great day. You and I have to have 900 people walk past and go, you were so great at your job. Oh my God, I just was amazed by you. I cannot understand how one person walks past that doesn't say it. You're like, all right, I guess he didn't like the show.
It was average. They didn't buy anything. Yeah.
So something happened last night where we were on the lake. A woman goes, an older woman, she's walking with her. She goes, because I have a light up mask. I have a light up mask that changes colors. Yeah. And then I have rainbow lights, LED lights going underneath my board. We have these cool lights that change colors. So she's like, oh man, that is so cool. And I go, thank you. So what my wife is going to make for me is an LED suit, like a jumper suit.
Awesome.
Yeah. And my son's like, Dad, why do you need that? I go, well, for one, I'm fascinated with lights. Like I just love, LED lights. Like I can't understand how bright they are and small and nimble and everything. So, because we didn't have that when I was younger. So I go, I'm going to try to explain to you something, and you won't understand. I said, but when you see certain people doing their thing and they don't give a crap about anybody, they are in their mode. They're like, this is me, whether it's a big oversized cowboy hat or whatever it is, and they're in their space and time and they're doing their thing. That can be inspiring. And I told him, when somebody's going to see me fly past them in the middle of the night wearing this light up suit on this light up board, I got light up LED glasses. I go, the majority of people are going to be like, oh my God, that's pretty cool, and move on. But there's going to be some people that are going to be inspired by just my living my life, doing what I want. And
They're going to be like, get it, light rider, or whatever they call you.
Rider.
There goes Light Rider. Whoa, he's so fast. Right.
That's going to be my name, Light Rider.
It's time for
5 quick questions. I put together trivia for every guest that comes on the show. And I was trying to figure out what to do with your trivia. So I decided to make it about speed.
Right.
The average electric skateboard ranges between 22 miles per hour and the top speed of 68 miles per hour. All you have to do is tell me, are these speed items faster or slower than the top speed of an electric skateboard? So I'm going to tell you some things that happen and they go fast. You tell me, are they faster or slower than the top speed of an electric skateboard at 68 miles per hour? Question number 1.
Okay.
Is a skydiver falling belly to earth faster or slower than the top speed of an electric skateboard?
Oh, way faster.
That is correct. Yeah, they fall at 120 miles per hour, belly to earth. Question number 2. The Triple Crown winning horse Secretariat. Was Secretariat faster or slower than the top speed of a skateboard, electric skateboard?
Oh man, that's a good one. I want to say slower.
That is correct. The top speed, or the average speed of Secretariat, was 37 miles per hour, slower than the top speed of electric.
Yeah, because I'm like, well, I know a cheetah is, it's fastest animal on earth, but I don't think they run that damn fast.
Number three. A greyhound. Is a greyhound faster or slower than the top speed of an electric skateboard?
That is a good one. I will say slightly slower. So I'd say they could probably run around 60 to 55 miles an hour.
You're right again. It's 45. Greyhound runs around 45 miles per hour.
Yeah.
Number 4. Faster or slower than the top speed of an electric skateboard? An archery arrow.
Oh my God. 68 miles an hour. I want to say slower.
An arrow goes 200 miles an hour. Faster. Okay, you've got one wrong. Last one is a sneeze. Is a sneeze faster or slower than the top speed of an electric skateboard?
You have got some amazing questions, because I've never even thought. I'm going to say faster.
That is correct. A sneeze is 100 miles per hour. You sneeze at 100 miles per hour. You got the majority of these questions right. So you do know your stuff about electric skateboards, but I cannot let you leave without playing a Rad Lib with me. And now it's time for Rad Libs. Okay, here's what happened. I've written a story. I wrote a story, but I left out some parts of speech. If you give me the parts of speech that I asked for, we're going to make a hilarious story. Are you ready to play Rad
Love
Libs?
it. Let's do it.
Okay, I need an adjective.
Big?
Big, yes. A U.S. city.
San Francisco.
San Fran. A type of furniture.
Sectional. Because I love sectionals.
I do too. Big fan of the sectional. Another adjective. Sorry to do it to you again.
Jesus.
He would be a noun.
Funny?
Yes. I need a plural noun. That's anything's.
Apples.
A verb ending in ing.
Painting.
Yes. I need a liquid.
Honey.
A document.
Birth certificate.
Story is really getting good. Something you yell.
Get off of that.
You yell at I don't know, I'm trying to think of who you're yelling that at. Your wife?
Yep.
No.
What are you doing? I'm supposed to be videotaping.
A noun.
Billy Goat.
Oh, someone you call on the phone.
Secretary.
That's a great answer. It's a great answer. A body part.
Nipple.
Yes. Yeah, best guest ever. More nipples in Rad Libs. Why can't all guests be like you? An adjective.
Oh my God, Kristin.
Just describe the nipple. Or describe the billy goat. Just
Supple.
supple. That billy goat was sure supple. Excellent. A euphemism.
Rusty sheriff's badge.
Rusty sheriff's badge. Do you want to explain that one?
That would be your back door.
Oh, excellent. Oh, I learned a euphemism today. This is great. A verb ending in ing.
I will tell you this right now. If anybody goes, hey, I'm doing a podcast with Kristin, I'd be like, well, you better go fucking study. I haven't been asked to describe an adjective, noun, verb, euphemism, like
your kid would be done already. Your kid would be done
Yeah.
already. Yeah.
Dad, what are you talking? I thought you said you're hip. You're not a comedian, but
Okay, verb ending in ing.
laughing.
Yes. An occupation.
Zookeeper.
A noun.
Acrobat.
Good. An animal.
Cheetah.
Yes. And an excuse.
I didn't see you there.
We have a story. We have a story. All right, the story is just called, Do you know why I pulled you over?
Perfect.
All right. Monday night, a big man from San Francisco was pulled over for speeding. A witness video has gone viral because the man cited for speeding was riding an electric sectional. The situation escalated when the officer approached the funny vehicle and began questioning the man about his apples. Just assuming he's saying how you like them apples. The suspect appeared to have been painting behind the wheel and drinking honey. The officer asked to see his license and birth certificate. The man refused and began screaming, "Get off of that!" He then pulled out his billy goat and began waving it at the officer. At that point, the officer used his radio to call for his secretary. The suspect then tried to escape on nipples, but after a supple pursuit, the police officer was able to subdue the suspect using a police technique called the Rusty Sheriff's Badge.
Oh my God.
It worked really well.
Oh my God.
The suspect admitted to speeding as well as to laughing without a license and impersonating a zookeeper. His home was searched and several illegal vehicles were found, including a rocket-powered Acrobat, a stolen motorcycle, and a motorized cheetah. When asked why he had been so fond of illegal transportation, he replied, "I didn't see you there."
Nice. That is perfect.
Well done. Well done. We made an excellent story. Please tell the viewers and listeners where they can find you and what you have coming up.
So you can find me, my website is jasonrussell.lol. That is right, .lol. That's my website. My links on our Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I have a comedy special out that I think you did as well, Dry Bar, called Beige Frosty, and pretty proud of it.
Well, thank you so much for doing this today.
I can't tell you how much of a pleasure it was to be on with you. This is what I was going to say earlier, and I got whenever your name is mentioned, nothing but accolades from your fellow comedians. I promise you, not one person, whenever your name comes up, has anything but good things to say about you as a person and killer on stage. So you got that going.
You just made my whole day. That's so nice. Because I tell you, like you said earlier, you walk out of a comedy club and 1,000 people say, good show. You don't hear it. You hear one person's like, I don't know. But you hear your peers, like comedy peers in a green room saying nice things about you. Those actually stick. Those stick. So I really appreciate you saying that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And so it was a pleasure. It was my honor to be on with you. So thank you for having me.
Interview complete. Pulling the plug on the Light Rider's electric scooter.
And the lights went out on Light Rider. Thank you, Jason Russell, for joining the show today, reminding me of who I used to be, and for playing my games with you guys. Thank you for listening or watching. Please like, follow, subscribe. However you're listening or watching, there's a button that says like, follow, or subscribe. Push that button and see what happens. You could make Jason light up. Find me online, KristinKey.com. I've got a calendar there. Find out when I'm touring in a city near you. Buy some of my awesome merch. I have hooker hats. They're awesome. Anyway, every week I'll be bringing you a new hilarious comedian. We'll chit chat. We'll play 5 quick questions. We'll do a Rad Lib, and everybody goes home a better person. So until next time, bye.
We're gonna talk to some people, gonna have a lot of fun. We're